He's a self-described Democratic socialist from Vermont who got his political start as the mayor of Burlington. A long shot then, a bigger long shot now. He's an unlikely presidential candidate taking on the biggest frontrunner the Democratic Party has ever seen.
One poll shows him down 60 points.
I don't know that Bernie Sanders can beat Hillary Clinton.
You know, you almost have to feel sorry for Bernie.
He may not have any chance.
That's all going to disappear by the time we get to Iowa.
This Bernie mania thing could burn out.
She is ahead, George, by a long shot.
They don't see Bernie Sanders as a real threat.
Bernie, stop spitting.
He's not going to be the nominee.
Major structural problems with Bernie Sanders.
Clinton crushes him in national polls by more than 40 points.
Hillary probably will inevitably be the nominee.
Even Democrats admit he may not be their best shot at the White House.
He is not going to be the nominee.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders may be gaining a little bit of momentum as he seeks to challenge Hillary Clinton. His views may be gaining traction.
Look at Bernie Sanders' rise, tripling his support.
The hottest thing in American politics right now is a socialist.
That is a rocket ship.
I don't think we've seen more enthusiasm for any candidate.
Sanders, 35.
Senator Bernie Sanders drew a monster crowd.
3,000 in Minneapolis, 5,000 in Burlington.
We know what Bernie Sanders wants, and a lot of the Democratic Party, let's be honest, they want it too. This morning, Clinton is feeling the burn.
Throwing a scare into Hillary Clinton's camp.
Bernie momentum drawing larger crowds than every candidate running.
Possibly as many as 10,000 people.
It is real.
We're worried about him, sure.
It was another full house for Senator Bernie Sanders.
He could win Iowa. He could win New Hampshire.
A statistical tie.
We've got 28,000 people in Portland.
Sanders is a summer sensation. 70,000 people lined up.
Bernie Sanders was greeted like a rock star.
The crowd is really swelled.
These people are very excited. Clinton dropping below 50%. Clinton's lead now down to single digits.
Hillary Clinton has lost a third of her supporters.
Sanders has nearly doubled his support.
He has an electable agenda.
Bernie Sanders beating Clinton in New Hampshire.
Sanders gaining 15 points.
Once thought to be the longest of long shots with a commanding lead.
Bernie Sanders could get elected president.
Hillary Clinton is feeling the burn. Checkmated by Democratic Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders on fundraising.
It was a record-breaking weekend for Bernie Sanders.
Who do you think the Democratic nominee will be?
Sanders.
What Bernie Sanders is running against is literally the power structure.
Bernie Sanders getting his first endorsement from a member of Congress, Raul Grijalva.
He has gotten 1 million individual donations, and he reached that much earlier than Barack Obama did. Congressman Keith Ellison says he will support Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders.
No one could predict the huge crowds and the surge of popularity for Bernie Sanders, a man who's been around the block fighting for poor and working class Americans.
Who won the debate?
Bernie Sanders! Bernie Sanders won this debate.
Bernie Sanders won the debate tonight.
75%. Huge margin.
He's got the support, the kind of enthusiasm that often counts on caucus night. But it has now collected more than 2 million contributions, and Sanders has picked up his biggest labor endorsement to date from the 700,000-member Communications Workers of America. The million-member progressive group Democracy for America announced that it, too, was throwing its support behind the Democratic challenger.
62% of Democrats now say they could see themselves supporting him.
A mock election that hasn't been wrong in 40 years declares Bernie Sanders will be our next president.
He got more contributions, individual donors, than anybody in American history.
Sanders does better against the Republicans than Clinton.
Clinton leads Donald Trump by 8 points, but Sanders leads him by 13.
Breaking news right now. We've got a race, folks. Bernie Sanders with his biggest lead yet.
Bernie Sanders has built something real.
He's passed her just now in Iowa.
I can't get over your map. Bernie Sanders was purple and the whole country was purple.
He has the momentum right now.
Your focus group believed that Sanders won the debate.
Clearly, people are feeling the burn.
Birmingham, Alabama, where he addressed an overflow crowd of about 7,000.
That's where he's weak?
This is incredible.
Well, I would hate to see where Bernie Sanders is strong if I were in the Clinton campaign.
Bernie Sanders up 27 points.
With 13 days to go, it's Hillary Clinton's nightmare scenario.
There is no way to describe these new New Hampshire numbers other than stunning.
People that think that Bernie Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
Is like the easier target right now.
Oh, no.
Do not sense what 2016 is all about.
What do young women see in Bernie Sanders?
They actually think that he's better on specific issues.
He's captured both authenticity and joy.
Bernie Sanders is catching up to Hillary Clinton nationally.
15,000 people turned out in St. Paul after 6,000 flocked to see Bernie Sanders in Duluth.
Bernie Sanders with 49.
The former head of the NAACP will endorse Bernie Sanders.
He's tapping into the anger about Wall Street, about the economy, about the middle class. He's direct, he's blunt, he's funny.
Bernie Sanders still has a hold over the youth vote.
As Bernie Sanders pulled into a virtual tie with Hillary Clinton in a national poll, he packed the famed Exeter Town Hall so tight, the fire marshal shut it down, and a spillover crowd waited in the snow.
In a statistical tie, and in New Hampshire, Sanders is way out in front.
Bernie Sanders will decisively win the Democratic presidential primary here in New Hampshire.
Bernie Sanders, we project, will be the Democratic winner.
They're watching some video of Bernie Sanders shooting hoops because we understand, if you can believe it, that's actually what he's doing right now with his kids, with his grandkids.
It didn't take long for CNN to project that Sanders won the event. A concession was already at the ready by the Clinton campaign.
18 to 29-year-olds. Sanders destroys Clinton on this score. Independent voters. Sanders again going away, 72%. This is the wow number of the night. They are 55% of the electorate, and Sanders beats Clinton among Democratic women 55% to 44%.
Very impressive win for Bernie Sanders.
The Sanders campaign is operating a very big, aggressive operation throughout the state of South Carolina. They actually have more offices, more staff here than the Clinton campaign. They were going door to door talking to African-American voters. We actually didn't run into any Clinton supporters.
If I had to vote today, I would be leaning toward Team Bernie.
Thousands of Sanders supporters are here. There are people of every age here who say they're feeling the burn.
One study found ABC's World News Tonight gave Donald Trump 81 minutes through the first 11 months of last year. Bernie got 20 seconds. Then he practically tied Hillary in Iowa and decimated her in a New Hampshire landslide.
This is not a gadfly campaign any longer. They're holding their own against the Clinton machine. It's kind of amazing to watch.
Senator Bernie Sanders clobbered Hillary Clinton in New Hampshire with a huge win. In fact, this was the single largest margin of victory for any non-incumbent in a primary since JFK.
According to a new National Fox poll of likely Democratic voters, Hillary Clinton is actually trailing Sanders by 3 points.
When we come together as a nation, when we say enough is enough, when we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish.